जैन जितने निकुंज बात कर रहे हैं वो कॉन्वर्सेशन आपको सीधे लिए चलते हैं.
You hear me now, or you want us to? Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, we all are working from different locations, so I guess these things our viewers understand now that how COVID programming works. So Prashant, at ET Now, we are calling the year 2021 as the year of imagination and fascination. Fascination given what's happening in the digital world, and imagination given how new and new asset classes have got created. But whichever way I look at it, 2021 has been a year of fantastic returns. What is in store for 2022?
That's a great, and the most apt question to start this conversation. And I think the longer term India is always positive because it represents tremendous and secular growth. And 1 year, we have experienced it time and again, is always a challenge to take a view on. But I would still have a positive bias on the markets. And the reasons why I think returns should be positive over the course of this year. I think one, the valuations are reasonable. And some people felt that markets have run much ahead of the economic growth or fundamentals. I think that's not entirely true. Markets are now keeping pace with the fundamentals. And that is reflecting in both the trailing 10-15 year returns, which is around 12-13% around nominal GDP growth. It is reflecting in PE multiples. Markets are trading close to maybe 18 times fiscal 24. And in about 6-9 months from today, we will all start looking at that. These are maybe 5-10% higher multiples than long-term averages. But given the improving growth outlook and also the quite low cost of capital, I think these are reasonable valuations. I think the most important reason for optimism is that the growth outlook of both the economy and of earnings growth has clearly improved. I think while COVID caused a lot of social pain, a lot of pain to low-income households, I think the economy actually has come out a winner through this very difficult time. The shift from Chinese manufacturing has accelerated. The China Plus One strategy is a clear focus. The government is supporting it by way of PLI schemes and various policy initiatives. The profitability across the manufacturing sector in India, paper, sugar, textiles, metals, chemicals, across the board, we have seen an improvement. Corporate leverage in India is between 10 and 15-year lows. So I think the outlook for private capex is also improved. And world over, including India, I think governments are giving high emphasis on infra capex. And I'm sure we know how infra investments in India are accelerating. The flow of PE capital into not just the listed markets, but all in the unlisted markets, the startups, the infra assets, I think it is again has positive implications for the growth of not just the economy, but specifically the infra sector. The corporate banks or the banks' corporate NPA cycle has clearly ended. And we used to discuss it for many years, it will happen. But now I think one can clearly say it is over. So the outlook even there is quite decent. So net, I feel quite optimistic going into this year. Though I must also add that the returns of the last 1 or 2 years, the very high returns were the result of an extremely low base and also extremely low levels of corporate profitability in India. Corporate profits to GDP had fallen in fiscal 20, so I think almost 1.6%. Next year, we expect it to be around 4.5%. I think these very high returns of last 1-2 years, because of the low market levels and low levels of profitability, I don't think should be extrapolated. And I think while one should remain optimistic, I think one should have more moderate expectations from equity markets. And I think if I think slightly ahead, maybe 3-5 years, I think this is a compounding type of market, which is what equities are actually known for.
To break it for our viewers here, Prashant, what Prashant is saying is that when you invest, you look at three factors: valuations, which according to him are reasonable. If you look at earnings, there is scope for earnings recovery. And the third dimension is time. So don't look at 1 year. If you look beyond 3, 4, 5 years, there is a serious chance that you will continue to create wealth. Prashant, but if interest rates are likely to go higher, which is what they are, whether it's 25 bips or whether it is 50 bips, that is something which is our debate. Valuations will start coming down because the interest rate environment will always have an impact on the way how markets will start pricing equities as an asset class. Isn't that a risk of derating and risk of crunching?
Because I think that's again a very apt question, and this the key risk that most people are highlighting for equities, not just in India but globally. But valuations, Nikunj, are not just a function of interest rates; they are also a function of growth. The growth outlook in India, both for the economy and corporate profitability, I think has improved materially. And while you are right, absolutely, that higher interest rates are not positive for equity valuations. I think the markets are pricing in some normalization of interest rates already. And but clearly, if the interest rates surprise us on the upside, then clearly there could be some downside to valuations. And I myself admitted right at the beginning that valuations are 5-10% higher than long-term averages, though it's reasonable given the extremely low interest rates. The interesting point about India, however, is that long-term returns in a growth environment, in a growing economy like India, are far more dependent on growth than they are on some variations in interest rates. I mean, look at last 40 years, Sensex is up whatever 550 odd times. And in this period, we have seen many interest rates cycles. Interest rates have been high, interest rates have been low. Well, yes, while if interest rates go up really sharply, it could have a moderating impact on valuations. But if growth is persistent, if growth is good, I think one can still maintain and should maintain a positive view of equities. So, I mean, there is always a possibility that the year may end either flat or even marginally negative. But I think if you take a 3-5 year view, I think this is a risk which is reasonable. And to some extent, at least, it is priced into these.
But why are you reasonably confident of a 2 to 3 to 5 year earnings cycle, which is what we have to understand, because ultimately that is the fuel for the market. What gives you the confidence that high inflation, high commodity prices, these will not derail the new economic cycle or the earnings cycle which has started?
Because that's again a great, question. It flows very logically. See, I think the key is that one, inflation is a pass-through for equities. Inflation actually supports faster profit growth because what is inflation? It is higher prices of goods and services. And so companies which are selling these goods and services, they tend to benefit at least in rupee terms, in nominal terms. Higher commodity prices, they help the profitability clearly of the commodity companies. And over time, the companies where the inputs are commodities, let's say the automobile sector or the consumer durable sector, they will pass it on to the end consumer. Because prices, let us remember, are not set by cost, but they are also set by demand and supply. So over time, these prices do get passed on to the end consumer, and that is what results in higher inflation. I don't think commodity prices would also impact the earnings growth rate. In fact, they may aid of the commodity specific sectors. As far as the other sectors are concerned, I think clearly the NPA cycle has ended. And given the economic cycles, the credit cycles of the capex cycles, 6, 8, 10 year durations, I don't think we should worry.
So केपेक्स साइकिल पर काफ़ी बुलिश दिखे प्रशांत जैन HDFC AMC के, और इसके चलते हुए उन्होंने अपना स्टांस और अपने सेक्टर्स शेयर किए। फिलहाल